Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name is Matt Wakeling and this is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia. Welcome for episode number 172. Now today I am talking to Sydney guitarist Fab Manzini, a shredding instrumentalist who has teamed up with some of the world's greatest bass players to release some new instrumental music. I first met Fab in the early 90s. The bands we were in were both playing on the same bill, and I was just blown away by Fab's tone and technique. And even then, if you think about circles of musicians or peer groups, he was already way ahead of the curve. Today's episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott. Now, Joe is not only a fantastic guitar player, he draws on his years of experience as the ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and also at the McNally Smith Music College. Here's a few words from Joe about the course.
If you're tired of wading through hundreds of random guitar videos and just want to become a better player, Fretboard Biology is your answer. Fretboard Biology is a self-paced, college-level program that'll give you the right instruction, in the right amounts, and in the right order. You'll learn the same information I taught to thousands of other guitar players over 30 years of teaching in top music colleges. If you want to make real progress with your guitar playing, then sign up for a free 7-day trial at fretboardbiology.com.
Fab Manzini, welcome to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great to have you, Fab. Now, we last mentioned you on the podcast back in 2017 when your album Time came out.
Yep.
And that was featured on one of our Australian Guitar News episodes, I think.
Right.
But in the last, 6, 7, 8 months or so, you've released a trilogy of tracks with some incredible bass players that you've pulled in around the world.
Yeah.
Which has been awesome, man. Let's go back to November 2020. Your single is After the Fall, and you've got Tony Franklin on bass.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, after Time, I wanted to do something, a bit more professional sounding, and I wanted to give it a more of an international sort of flavour to it. I wasn't quite sure what bass players to get to ask. And someone mentioned, why don't you try Tony Franklin? So I approached him on Facebook. He was keen to do it for me. So and it worked out perfect. I mean, it was a perfect man for that song. I really enjoyed it. He's such a nice guy. Nothing was too hard for him to do. So yeah, really
That's
appreciate
awesome,
it.
Man.
Yeah.
So this is Tony Franklin from The Firm, and probably in terms of rock and heavy rock, one of the very few fretless players, and that gives him such a unique voice as a player.
Exactly, yeah. And the middle section fits him perfectly with his fretless bass, and yeah, it sounded really great. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it was obviously a good call by you to give him some space to stretch out a little.
Yeah, it was good.
Excellent. And I guess, as so many recordings nowadays can happen, you can just send stems back and forth. Was that the process with Tony?
Well, that's it. And, being in lockdown around the world at that time, I found that it was easier to approach musicians. They got more time on their hands, sort of thing. And
yeah, sure.
So it was perfect timing for that. And
that's cool.
Like you said, the process is backwards and forwards. A couple of takes here and there, but it seems to work, and it seems like everyone's doing that these days. That's the way to go.
It's such a quick way to work.
Yeah.
Tell me about the production back home in Australia. I know you're working with your drummer a lot on the production. That's
right. Yeah. Les Hall is my permanent drummer. He's also in a tribute show that I do. He's got his own studio set up at home, so I work the same way with him as I would with an international player, like just through internet and that. So it seems to work, and I give him enough time to do the tracks. Like, it can take a couple of months. It doesn't worry me. When they're ready, sort of thing. There's no time schedule.
Sure. I've got to say the production on these 3 tracks is really great. They sound fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a learning experience for me as well, producing my own material, because, back in the day, we just went to a recording studio and just played our bits and came back when it was ready, sort of thing. But, yeah, I'm learning as I go. Like, you're never too old to learn. That's, it's always experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, the guitars sound fantastic, which is always your trademark since way back when we first met. What's your process for recording your guitars?
Okay, well, I'm still trying different ways just to get a better sound. At the moment, I use a Marshall JVM straight into the interface, and then add the effects on later. So the Marshall JVM's got a direct output, so it just goes straight in. With
okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's got a already built-in speaker simulator in it.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's cool, man. That's great.
Yeah, and sometimes I add like some extra plugins, like ML Sound or the Line 6 native plugins.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah. So that's
great,
a process.
Man.
Yeah, that's a process. I mean, I mix them up, combine the different plugins and that, to try to get the sound happening. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Are you running any pedals into the Marshall?
I got my HX FX, but I keep that mainly dry. Just I think I use a EQ on that, and maybe a noise gate.
Okay, yeah,
and
cool.
I add all the delays and reverbs later. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool method. Well, Matt, whatever you're doing sounds really, really great.
Thanks, yeah.
What about guitars? What are you playing for guitars these days?
Mainly Ibanez RGs. Yeah, I find it easy to play, and they just shred, by themselves. So I don't have to do anything. No, they're great guitars.
Nice, man.
Yeah. But, yeah. Awesome.
A classic guitar, and they keep building beautiful RGs. The new stuff looks awesome.
Yeah.
Are you doing any mods? Are you keeping them stock, like in terms of pickups, stuff like that?
No, most of them are stock. They all come standard with the Tone Zone, the Air Norton, and the True Velvet pickups. They seem to work for me, and I like the sound of it. I even installed a Tone Zone on my Fender Strat, the HM Strat. That's got a Tone Zone in it now. So I just like the I just like the pickup. Yeah,
they're cool. They're the Damasio, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. When you say your Strat, is that your old HM Strat?
Yeah, HM Strat. I think it's 1988.
Awesome, man.
Supposed to be pink, but it's turned a shade of apricot now.
Okay. That's cool, man. I remember when they came out, I remember you had one and it just blew me away. That was very cool.
Yeah, nice guitar, yeah. They're beautiful guitars.
Awesome. Absolutely. Hey, let's move along with the tracks. So after after the fall, was Lost Without You, was that your second?
Yeah, that was the second one with Billy, yeah.
Yeah, Billy. Now, when you say Billy, that we're talking Billy Sheehan.
Yeah, the man.
The
Master.
Man, that is rad. And you can totally identify his tone on this track.
Oh, his tone it's so sweet and just rolls on, like it's beautiful. Like, yeah. I didn't alter his sound at all. I just used it as he gave it to me.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. I gave him room to do a few runs in there. He asked me what he should do, and I just said, no, just go do what you do. You're the man. Do what you do, man. That's it.
Oh, that's excellent. Now his tone, it's a little bit distorted. Live he will blend a bit of dirt in with his dry signal.
Exactly.
Did he just send you back one stem, or like where he pre-mixed those?
Like
that blend, or separate?
Tony Franklin sent me two stems, like a cab and a direct input, and then Billy just sent me the one stem, the sound. That's it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So,
good.
So I
good
guess,
to go.
I guess he doesn't like people messing with his sound too. Like that's a sound, like
Yeah,
you
sure.
want Billy, that's what you get, which is good. I'm not saying it's not like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Hey, interesting then with Tony Franklin. What did you end up doing in the mix? Did you go more for the cab or the direct, or did you
It was
mix them?
actually, I think it was a 50-50 mix in the end.
Okay, nice.
The cab sounded a bit more dirtier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a blend of the two sounded good.
Yeah, cool. Hey, Lost Without You's got some really cool guitar harmonies.
Oh, yep.
That must have been fun working at those parts.
Yeah, I love doing harmonies and melodies and all that. I think that's my forte, doing a melody. Like, I just come up with melodies on the spur of the moment sort of thing. I always love, like, harmonies, mate. Like, how can you have an instrumental without harmonies?
That's awesome, man. When you were coming up, what bands were inspiring you in terms of your guitar playing and perhaps your harmonic approach?
There was obviously the usual standard, like rock bands, but I used to listen a lot to Mike Oldfield in the day.
Okay, yeah, wow.
That's where I get the inspiration from, the instrumental side of things. Like, his instrumentals were awesome. He played all the parts, always.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not as good as that, but I get my inspiration from those times. He had such great melodies. Like, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, that whole Tubular Bells album was so influential for people from lots of fields of music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow. Very cool. He had a big hit here in Australia with what was it, Moonlight Shadow or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it wasn't until years later that I ran across Tubular Bells. I thought, hang on, is this the same guy?
Yeah.
And clearly it was. There was a lot more to him than just that one.
Oh, that's right.
Pop hit in the 80s.
And I preferred his QE2 album. That was excellent.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, if you get a chance, have a listen to that, because that's awesome.
It's been a while. I have heard it, but not for a while. I need to dig that out again. I've had other guitar players actually mention that.
All right.
That on this podcast. Yeah. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, time for me to revisit.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So Stu Ham's on Lost. Not Stu Ham. Sorry, Billy Sheehan. Yeah, not yet. Definitely. I might be.
He's on the list, mate.
Is he? Oh, cool. Good to hear. I'm sorry. Rides the Silence. So that's your latest single. It's been out maybe for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
And for this, another guest bass player. Tell us about your guest for this track.
Yep. Anthony Saley is from the band Whiteheart. He's done quite a bit of work with him. Once again, he was one of the bands that I grew up with and admired. All these bass players, they're all on the bucket list sort of thing. Like, mate, when you get an opportunity to work with them, I mean, I got to grab it, and it's
cool,
one in a lifetime opportunity sort of thing. Like, you don't know what's going to happen down the track if artists are going to be this approachable again. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
So make the most of it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's such a
really cool. Sorry, Fab.
No, you dropped out. Yep. No, I was just going to say it's got an excellent tone, and the way he plays, I just loved it. Like, he just sent me one take, and that was it, because I just loved it, from the start, what he did to it.
This episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott, ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and the McNally Smith College of Music. I was one of the beta testers for the course and can say, as a music educator, I was really impressed by the logical sequence of learning. The course has also been endorsed by players such as Brett Garsed and Greg Koch. For more details, check out the links in our show notes. This might be your most progressive track of the last three as well.
Yep. I was actually speaking to Les, the drummer, and I think, and we did mention, try and get a bit more progressive with the future tracks and that. So that's what I try to do with this one. There's some weird time change in the middle, and And so it tells a story once again. I like to tell a story with the music.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, the time changes are awesome. They're super fun. Very cool. Now, in the intro, which I've already recorded, which you haven't heard yet, I mentioned that you and I first met in the early 90s. I remember...
That's right.
I distinctly remember this gig where I was playing bass in a band called Caliber, and you were playing guitar in a band called... Were you Sacred Rock there? Or
Sacred Rock, yeah.
Sacred Rock, yeah. And we had some friends who knew each other, but we had never met.
Yeah.
But I remember your band mainly because you blew me away. So you were shredding on, I think, was it an SG with a...
Yeah, it was SG
Floyd or something?
with a Floyd. I don't know, yeah.
Killer, man. And
that was a thing to do in the 80s, wasn't it?
Just whack a Floyd on everything. Yes.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But man, you're playing Stuck Out, and the band was awesome as well. So that was a pretty cool introduction to you.
Yeah, that's right. I was impressed by your bass playing. I think I even mentioned it on the night to you. Like, and then you blew me away because then down the track we met down that I think was a Ibanez guitar competition, and you were playing guitar.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You blew me away.
That's
like you were shredding on the guitar as well. Like.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you to say. I was a part-time bass player, and I was trying not to sound like a guitar player playing the bass when I did that.
That's why I loved it, because you sounded like a guitarist.
I was probably using a pick. Oh, yeah, man. Long live the lead break from the early 90s, I think that must have been.
Yeah, it was early 90s.
That's right. Yeah. That was fun. Were you in that? Were you a competitor in that as well?
Yeah.
There you go. Small world. And again, a bunch of people who've ended up on this podcast did that.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And with Dave Holmes running the band, that was
That's
killer.
right, yeah. That was a bonus, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, that set those guys played. There was him, there was Randall Waller singing and playing guitar.
Yeah.
Phil Saddleton, Nev LeGreen on bass, and I think Jeff Crabtree on keys. It was kind of
That's right. Yeah. Oh, that sounded huge, mate.
Yeah, oh man. I think I could have gone home after they played. I didn't really want to do the competition after this.
Exactly.
I just had a good time already. That's cool.
In hindsight, I don't think I should have used a Gibson for Ibanez competition.
What was your song?
It was Gary Moore, I think. Walking or something. I think it was Walking.
Oh yeah, Walking by Myself. Yeah,
that's
cool,
it.
The shuffle thing.
Yeah,
nice.
that was good.
Nice. I had what did I have? The Dire Straits, Money for Nothing.
Oh, right.
Which I love that song, but the solo is just over one chord. So
yeah, bit limited. Yeah,
that's hard work. That's hard work, man. You've got to be good to make one chord sound good.
Oh, that's right.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah,
man. What else were you playing back then? So you had the Gibson, you had the SG, you had the HM Strat.
Yep.
I love talking about late 80s, early 90s rigs, I guess, because that's that was my time coming up. What were you playing through, like amps, pedals, YSM?
I had I still got it actually, a Mesa Boogie studio preamp.
Yeah, awesome.
And then ran it into Carvin power amp, tube power amp, 100 watts, and a Marshall quad, JC 800 quad. So I still got that rig.
Yeah, cool, man. That's right. We all had racks back then.
Yeah, it was all rack. Yeah, with the Yamaha SPX 90, the Digitech quad reverb.
Classic.
Then the Rocktron noise gate, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just carrying a small fridge around.
They got so heavy, those things.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, and you needed a science degree to work out the MIDI switching to get all the different units to work with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember your foot switch?
The foot switch? I think it was a Boss MIDI foot switch. I can't remember what the name of it. It was definitely a Boss. I think I still got it somewhere.
Yeah. I've still got my Boss FC50, which was the foot switch I had. I don't have any of the rack gear anymore, but I've still got the foot switch. It's come in handy every now and then that I need some sort of MIDI switching. But Ah, good times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, they used to do my head in, getting my MIDI channels to talk to each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, good times though.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
back to the future. Have you got plans for some more instrumentals?
Um, yeah. Always working on some. I would like to try actually a song with a vocalist in it next time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So just for something different, you
Yeah,
know.
cool, man. Nice. I wonder, are there any other musicians, bass players or otherwise, on your hit list?
Well, it would be good to have Stuart Ham on it, like you mentioned earlier. Sure, he will be great. Um, as for bass players, obviously
Yeah.
drummers, I'll stick with Les, long-time friend.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
he sounds great, man, too.
yeah,
He sounds
oh,
so
he
good.
does a great job. Yeah,
Nice.
uh,
That's a good partnership you got there.
yeah,
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on those tracks. I love it that you've just taken your time, but you look back and you got 3 killer tracks in
yeah.
out within 6 months of each other. So you've actually been working super hard, and
Mm,
yeah, it's a great new. Not really. I don't know if new direction is the right word, but just a new chapter in your instrumental
that's
career.
right.
So
Exactly. Yeah. Now
yeah.
I forgot to mention. Uh, After the Days of Glory CD in when was it? 99, I think it was.
Yes, I remember when that came out too. Yeah,
Yeah,
over at Wirrawilla Studios, you
that's
made that.
right. Yeah, I had an accident and my tendons in my left hand were severed. So
Oh,
yeah, so it took me like 2 years after that to regain the full use of my left hand. Yeah,
oh man, that's full on.
yeah. So if you work hard, persevere, mate, you can do it. Like just
Awesome.
yeah, you got to stick at it, work hard, mate. Like I'm just trying to encourage somebody that might.
Yeah. Oh, totally, totally. And that's a huge thing for a guitar player to deal with, or anyone who's had any
Oh yeah, like
obstacle or injury or whatever that
that's
keeps you
right.
from doing your thing. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
was what was the process to get back onto guitar?
All right, like I was going to physio every week, and she say, "Oh, you got," because obviously after surgery, you got to regain the strength, bit by bit.
Hmm.
Started squeezing putty in your hand. It's trying to get the fingers moving, and just slowly going through the scales. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, it took me 2 years to get back on track, but I think in
Wow.
the end,
Wow.
I played better than what I did before I had the accident because it gave me time to synchronize my left and right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
I
amazing.
took
I had
took
no
took that
idea.
opportunity to improve myself.
Yeah,
Uh,
great, man. So good.
yeah,
So good. Fab, what's the best way for people then to keep up to date with all this music that you're making?
yeah, probably just on Facebook, Fab Manzini Music.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the best way.
Very cool. Well, I'll put that link in the show notes as well, so everyone listening
Yep,
can easily find that
beautiful.
link and check you out. Yeah. Well, Fab, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been really cool to catch up about the old days,
Yeah,
but absolutely about this new music that you're making too. I'm super pumped for you and can't wait to hear some more stuff.
yep. Thanks for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure.
All right, there you go. Fab Manzini on the Guitar Speak podcast. It was so cool to catch up with Fab. Please check out his music, check out the links in our show notes. Thanks also to Fretboard Biology for sponsoring today's episode. Again, links are in the show notes to check out that excellent online guitar course. All right, my name is Matt Wakeling. You've been listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll leave you in the words of Michael Schenker.
Keep rocking, keep on rocking.